what is photolithography and how it works. So that is what we are going to discuss today. Okay. This is again a very simple topic comparing with the remaining topics. Okay. So we will start with the photolithography. As the name suggests itself, so it has a photon, that is nothing but the light. So lithography is a process, okay, so which is used to soften or to harden the material which is sensitive to the light. So I will repeat, photo is nothing but the light, okay, or in other words we also call it as photon, is nothing but a light. Lithography is nothing but, it is a process which is used to harden or soften the material which is sensitive to the light. Okay. So now, based on this, we are going to discuss now how a photolithography works and what is the use of photolithography. Okay. So now we will start with this step by step. So first, look at this diagram here. So this is a complete diagram which is used here to show or to explain photolithography. So what it consists of. So here I used a silicon substrate. So silicon substrate, then it is exposed to the oxidation. So it forms a silicon dioxide layer. So this is the oxidation process which is already taken here, okay, using any one process like which are discussed, chemical vapor deposition or rapid thermal processing or thermal oxidation. So any one process is utilized based on the requirement. So now we have a silicon substrate and we have an oxidation layer which is a thin layer of SiO2. So now the next is, it consists of, this is we call it as a photoresist material. We call it as a photoresist material. Now, so the nature of this photoresist material is, it is very sensitive to the light or UV rays. Okay. Another important thing, so here it is always available in the form of liquid. Okay. So it is also called as NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Okay. Here, because of this nature that is very sensitive to the light, okay, it is always used in the liquid form. So it has two types. One is positive photoresist and the second is negative photoresist. Now, what is the difference between positive and negative photoresist? In the positive photoresist, so here the polarity pattern, I am saying the word, the polarity pattern of the photoresist and the silicon which is used are same. So therefore, it requires very less amount of energy for the process. Whereas the negative photoresist has opposite polarity pattern, so therefore it requires high amount of energy to process. So therefore, in photolithography, we always choose a positive photoresist which requires a very less amount of energy for the process. Okay. So now we will understand how this photolithography takes place. And another important thing, we call this is a mask which is used to mask a particular part of the photoresistive material. And this arrow indicates the UV rays or the sunlight which falls on this substrate or in the photoresist. So now, how photolithography takes place? So when we want a particular part to be hardened and a particular part to be softened. So as we know that this photoresist material is in liquid form. Okay, we are using this in a liquid form because we want a uniform distribution of this material on the surface of SiO2. So because of this, we are using photoresist in a liquid form. So now, when this photoresist is exposed to the light using mask here, so wherever we are using mask, at that place there is no fall of light here. Means, so I can say that this part of the photoresist will not be exposed to the light, whereas the remaining part, this part and this part of the photoresist is now exposed to the light. So from this I can say that now the material or the photoresist which is exposed to the light will get hardened, and the material which is masked, that is from the light, so that will be remain as soft. So now in the photolithography, the softened part allows the user to etch or to remove that part, okay, for the further process. And we can say that this process will carried out again in very less temperature and performs the process called photolithography. Okay, so I hope it is clear for everyone. So the main intention is that here we want to operate the particular part to be softened and the particular part to be hardened. So that can be achieved using photoresist material, a mask and a UV light. So as I said, the light which falls on the photoresist, that part will be hardened, okay, it cannot be removed, and which is masked, that part will be softened. Later that part can be etched in the next process, so that where we can dope or diffuse a particular material into the silicon substrate. Okay, so using photolithography we can access or we can dope a particular impurity or add particular impurity to the silicon substrate to form a p-n junction. Suppose if I take this as p-type material, once I remove this material which is softened, so here this complete material will be removed, and here I can now add impurity to this silicon substrate, and which forms one layer. That layer can maybe a n-type or p-type, depends on the substrate which is used. So now this is about photolithography, uses a light, a mask and photoresist. The only intention just to make the particular part harden and the particular part soften, so that we can use this for the next process. Okay, hope you guys got about photoresist, two types, positive photoresist, negative. In that, positive photoresist has a polarity pattern similar to the substrate, silicon substrate, and negative which is opposite. Okay, and this photoresist is always available in the liquid form, and it is very sensitive to the light. So this is about photoresist, and here this is the explanation about photoresist. You can start from this is this explanation and ends here. The same thing which we have discussed right now. Very simple concept. Okay. So hope it is clear for everyone about photolithography. So if you understood, put as yes. If you have any doubt in the particular part, I will repeat the same thing. Do it fast. Okay, fine. Hope it is clear for everyone. So as per the syllabus, the next topic is etching, and then we'll move on to the metallization. So these two topics left in the part A of module 5. Okay, here again I said this etching is completely related with the photolithography. So after photolithography we perform etching. Okay, so that will be the next topic here, which is shown. So this is nothing but etching. The main reason of etching is to remove the material which is not exposed to the light. For example, this part. In the photolithography, this part will be etched away. Etched means remove from that part, okay, which is not exposed to the light. So here, etching is a process which removes that unwanted part which is not required for the fabrication. So here also, it is a process which is used called as plasma based etching, or also called as reactive ion etching. Two names are there, RIE, reactive ion etching, and another one is plasma based etching. These are the two processes which are used just to etch or to remove the unwanted material present while performing photolithography. Okay, so what it consists of? It consists of a tube called anode. So this is a complete tube which is nothing but an anode. Okay, this is our anode part which is shown here. This is anode, and here this is the etching gas named as CFC, chlorofluorocarbon gas. This chlorofluorocarbon gas is combined with ions which has more number of electrons, and then it has atoms. Okay, we have two particles present in this chlorofluorocarbon. One is ion which is rich in electrons, and another in is atoms which are present in etching gas. And inside this anode tube or the chamber, we have plasma radicals and ions. Okay, so plasma radicals plays a very important role in etching. Okay, I will explain what is the role of that plasma. So now this is a cathode, a T-shaped cathode tube. Okay, so which provides a negativity to the wafers. So these are called as the wafers, which is shown here. These are the wafers which are placed on the cathode tube. Okay, and these wafers are already processed with oxidation and photolithography. So now we are using these wafers just to remove the particle or the material which is not required for the further process. Hope you guys following what I am saying. The wafers which are placed on this T-shaped cathode tube, they already went through the oxidation process, because that is a SiO2 layer is formed. Then they went through the photolithography, that is a particular part is hardened on the surface of this wafer and the particular part is softer. We have used here 3 wafers. You can use n number of wafers based on this chamber. So now what I want to remove the particular material which is softened by the photolithography. How it is achieved? So that will be achieved by passing the etching gas, that is chlorofluorocarbon gas, into the chamber. So then it is operated with a very high voltage. We call it as RF power supply, radio frequency power supply, which is around 100 to 1000 volts. So at that temperature, at that voltage, high DC voltage, we will pass this etching gas into the chamber, and then this fluorocarbon, which has the ions and atoms, okay, and because it operates around 1000 volts, the ions splits the electrons in the chamber, okay, interacts with the radicals, plasma radicals, which are rich in molecules, okay. So the electrons present in the ions so collide with the atoms present in the chlorofluorocarbon. Okay, and now wherever the softened area present in the wafer or on the surface of the wafer, that softened part will be removed uniformly using these electrons present in the ions by colliding with the atoms. Okay, I am repeating again what happens here. When I supply a 1000 volt DC voltage to the cathode tube and the etching gas is passed into this chamber, what it does, it will react with the plasma radicals, we call it as molecules, with the ions present in the etching gas. These ions rich in electrons, those electrons will accelerate it because of the power which is around 1000 volts. Okay, and electrons collides with the radicals like molecules. Okay, and during the collision, wherever the softened part present on the surface of the wafer will be removed uniformly. So thereby we can say that the etching process takes place, okay, by the uniform distribution of electrons present in the etching gas. Once this is done, then we are going to use a particular pump. That pump, okay, removes the softened part which is removed from the surface of the wafer towards the outside of this chamber. Okay, and then these wafers are taken out for the further process. So this is nothing but an etching process. Okay, hope you guys understood this. A simple process which is carried out around 1000 volts of DC by supplying the etching gas into the chamber. Reaction takes place, acceleration of electrons, those electrons collide with the atoms and the molecules present in the plasma radicals and removes the softened part of the wafer present in this cathode tube surface. Okay, so this is how the process takes place, and we call it as reactive ion etching because the ions in the etching gas takes place an important role in removing the unwanted material present on the surface of wafer. The same explanation is given here. So just go through this, we will understand how the etching process takes place. In the next class, we are going to discuss the last topic of Module 5 in Part A, that is metallization. Okay, this we will discuss in the next class. So I hope it is clear for everyone. If yes, put a message here in the chat box. If you have any doubts, particularly in the etching, you can ask right now. So do it fast, we can wind up the class. So any doubts in the particular part? Pramod Kumbar, any doubts? Pramod Kumbar.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Vani Kulkarni, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So then we will wind up the class now. Okay, I hope it is clear for everyone up to etching process. A very simple process, just to remove the unwanted material present on the surface of wafer. So that is what we want to do. So in the next class, we will start with the metallization. That's the last topic of this part A of the Module 5. And then we'll move on to the integrated circuits, which is very simple topic. Here also we'll discuss about fabrication. First we'll discuss about the background of integrated. I will define what is integrated circuit, its background, evolution, and CMOS integration. Then integration of other circuits. In another 2 or 3 class, we will wind up with Module 5. Okay, so now send your attendance in the chat box so that we can wind up. So do it fast. Hope everyone set the question. Okay. So now we are going to wind up the class.